Hey folks, welcome back. It's cold in here. Doesn't winter just bum you out? I like winter a lot more than the average person, but I gotta admit, it gets me down sometimes. It gets dark really early, it's cold all the time, you gotta scrape off your car every time you want to go anywhere. There are legitimately 5-foot tall snowbanks on the boulevard of every house on my street right now. Children are at risk of getting hit by cars because they can't see them coming out of their driveways. I don't think humans were meant for this climate. But you know what? That's not a universal experience. Some people see a 60-degree slope covered in snow and ice and trees sporadically distributed throughout and think to themselves, I want to go down that on 2 pieces of fiberglass at 160 kilometers an hour. The Olympics, the biggest international showcase of human ability in the world. I love the Olympics. Everybody loves the Olympics, right? Nobody has anything bad to say about it. Alright, let's be real here. The Olympics are and have always been neck deep in controversy. Not usually about the games themselves, but more so about the circumstances that surround them. But I don't want to talk about it, okay? What do you want from me? A political analysis of the Olympics? There's a reason this channel is called Idiot Ben. I'm a simple man, okay? I like to watch people do the big flip on the snowboard. I've always been more of a fan of the Winter Olympics. Can you guess why? Okay, I was expecting this comparison to show how much better Canada does at the Winter Olympics, but trust me, that the Summer Olympics have a lot more events, so when you think about it... But anyway, who cares about sports, bro? Like, all any of us care about is video games. Sports games are huge, right? NBA, NHL, Madden, God rest his soul. But what about the Olympics? I mean, there are Olympics video games, but, like, nobody cares. Seriously, who the fuck is out here spending $80 on the Tokyo 2020 Olympics video game? I'm sorry, but, like, I think the Venn diagram of gamers and bobsleigh fans... I don't think there's much of an intersection there, fellas. But you know what? If there is one person who can make the average person care about sports, it's Mario. Be real here. You don't give a shit about tennis. But if you see Luigi with a tennis racket, now we're talking, baby. And that is the mentality, or at least I assume that was the mentality, behind Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. Developed by Sega and released in 2007 to coincide with the 2008 Summer Olympics in Beijing, it spawned a series of Mario and Sonic games, the most recent of which being Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. I got it as a kid and I thought it was a lot of fun. The 2008 Olympics were really important to me. It was the first Olympics that I really got into. And I got into it hard. I was keeping track of medals, following Canadian athletes, being just annoying enough to keep my parents' minds off the housing crisis for a couple of weeks. It was an overall net positive in my opinion. But little did 12-year-old me know, in 2 years' time, my own home country would be host to the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver, British Columbia. This was super exciting despite the fact that Vancouver is so far away that it's barely the same country, but still, and with the 2010 Olympics came a sequel, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games. This game has always kind of fascinated me. Unlike its predecessor, I never actually owned it, I just rented it from Blockbuster. But you know what, since we're in the midst of the 2022 Winter Olympics, I figured it might be fun to take a look at this game. And who knows, maybe Sonic will finally win one. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games is a game with a very long title that was developed by Sega and released in 2009 for the Nintendo Wii and the Nintendo DS. But I'm playing the Wii one, and if you take issue with that... Also, for the first time in Idiot Ben history, I will be joined by my lovely wife and avid Nancy Drew gamer, Parrish. So I hope you like Split Screen, and I am very excited to be playing this because it is one of 2 games ever that take place in Canada. Get ready for unsolicited Canada facts! Please keep watching. This game starts out with this big crazy opening cutscene showing the beautiful mountains of British Columbia. And just like that, folks, it's time for Unsolicited Canada Facts Volume 1. Hi. If you're not from Canada, you're probably wondering what the hell this thing is. It's all over the branding for the 2010 Winter Olympics, and if you've ever been to Canada, you've probably seen one on a hiking trail or in a gift shop or something. This, my friends, is called an Inukshuk. It was used by the indigenous people of Canada, who were mostly nomadic and hunter-gatherers, to indicate that they had already been somewhere, or to say, good fishing here, am I right, fellas? Unless you're from another tribe, in which case, you better keep your hands off my fish. You see, the indigenous people of Canada, they were always on the move, out hunting or fishing or something. So if they had already been somewhere or they wanted to mark something, they would put one of these guys up. They just stack a bunch of rocks and bada bing, bada boom. Don't need to go back to there. We already been there. This giant one in Whistler, though, wasn't put here by the indigenous people. Most Inukshuks were like 3 feet tall and they were just stacks of rocks. So, you know, they would fall over in a strong enough wind. Obviously, none of them have maintained their position over the years. If you've been to Canada and you've seen one on like a hiking trail or something, It was probably just put there by white people. But there you go. It's a fun little cultural thing that people outside of Canada and Alaska might not know about. Now, back to the topic at hand, which I think it had something to do with Sonic, right? Right, so opening cutscene. It looks really good. Miraculously, all these characters qualified for the Winter Olympics, so good for them. Gotta say, I'm kind of disappointed that the characters don't have special outfits, the exception being Peach, Daisy, and Amy. They have special dresses, and they look adorable. I'm not saying they had to make special outfits for every sport, but like, you kinda changed their look a little bit for the occasion. Also, you guys know that snowboards and skis have like boot attachment things so that they stay on, right? Seems like a pretty big oversight, but whatever, nobody ever listens to me anyway. Oh, come on, that's gotta be cheating, right? Tails can fly. Father-son bobsledding, I wanna kill myself, that's adorable. And just like that, welcome to Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games, coming at you live from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. There's 3 different game modes: free play, party games, and festival mode. You can also play with a balance board, but I don't have one of those, so shut up about it. Party games kinda make it sorta into like a Wii party situation where you gotta play a little shooting game followed by a sport, and if you win you get more balls to pop balloons. I'm boring myself talking about this. Festival mode is kind of like a campaign. You can either play solo or as a team, and you go through a 2-week period where you try to get gold medals in all the different events. There's not a whole lot more to say about it, but it's pretty fun. But who fucking cares, bro? Let's get into the sports, baby. You got 9 different sports, most of which have 2 or 3 different variations. You got alpine skiing, ski jumping, freestyle skiing, snowboarding, speed skating, figure skating, bobsleigh, ice hockey, and curling. Once you have chosen a sport, you get a selection of 20 different characters. For Mario, you got Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Yoshi, Bowser, Bowser Jr., Donkey Kong, Wario, and Waluigi. And from Sonic, you got Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Dr. Eggman, Shadow, Silver, Blaze, Vector, and Metal Sonic. One thing that's kind of neat is that each character has different stats and fall into 4 different categories. For example, Sonic is obviously a speed type, and Mario is an all-around type. Because of course he is. Even when Sega is making the game, Mario has to be the fucking star of the show. You also got Power type, which is good for slap shots and hockey and launching curling stones real hard. And Skill type, who I assume are good at maintaining balance and accuracy for stuff like ski jumping and figure skating. You can also play as Miis, which are kind of fun because their stats are affected by what clothes they're wearing. And if you beat Festival mode with any of the characters, you unlock a Mii costume of them, which gives the Miis their stats, so that's pretty neat. But anyway, let's start out with Alpine skiing, which has downhill and giant slalom. There's not a whole lot of difference between the 2 events. I guess the slalom is just like a shorter course. The rules are pretty simple. You just zoom down a hill trying to get between all the little flag gates, and the skier with the fastest time wins the gold medal. Now, of course, this is a Wii game, so it's all about motion controls, baby. The way that downhill skiing works is you have to swing the Wiimote and nunchuck down to start, and then hold them in front of you, tilting the direction that you want to turn. You can also speed up by pointing the Wiimote and nunchuck. Okay, look, the phrase Wiimote and nunchuck is making me want to lick a lamppost. And then my tongue will get stuck, because it's cold out. I don't know how clear that was. So from here on, I'm going to refer to them as the Wii-chuck. Or maybe the Nun-mote. Those are both worse. I'm just going to call them the controllers. Yeah, so if you point the controllers forward, you'll speed up, and if you tilt them back toward you, you'll slow down. And that's really all there is to it. You want to get to the end as fast as possible, and you don't want to miss any of the flags, because it'll add time to your final score. It's pretty fun, and it has a decent challenge to it, although the game would have you believe that the best way to control is to sort of wave the controllers back and forth, when in reality it's much more effective to tilt them. Next up is ski jumping, one of my favorite sports in the actual Olympics. The increased possibility of horrible injury and or death really adds to the excitement for me. You can do individual ski jumping or team, but the team event isn't really any different. You just take turns, so it's basically choosing between co-op and versus. But anyway, the way that ski jumping works is that you want to get the furthest distance, but you also have to maintain good form. So if you're tilting and swinging all over the place while you're going down, you'll lose points on your final jump. In the video game, ski jumping basically has 3 phases. First, you want to wait for the wind to be in the right position, ideally facing away from you, and then you start by swinging the controllers down. Next, you ski down the hill and you have to tilt the controllers to maintain a straight balance. Then you swing the controllers up at the right time to jump, maintain your positioning in the air, and then swing the controllers down to stick the landing. It's very possible that I'm just garbage at this, but ski jumping is really fucking hard. Like, no matter what character I pick, which way I hold the controllers, how good I stick the landing, I just get obliterated by the computer characters. I'm out here consistently coming in 8th, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't really know if it's fair to say that it's bad, because maybe I'm just alone and being terrible at this, but you know what, fuck it, I like alpine skiing better, alright? Also, I'm gonna rank the sports. I know I didn't say anything, but like, whatever, put up with it. You're not my boss. Next up is freestyle skiing. Why do the Olympics have so much skiing for? You got moguls and ski cross, which are actually quite different from one another, so I'm gonna rank rank them individually. Moguls is like the thing where you bounce back and forth between the little bumps and then you jump off ramps and pull off a bunch of dope tricks. It basically works the same way as alpine skiing, but you have to swing back and forth to hit the bumps and then swing the Wiimote in different directions to do tricks in the air. Also, sometimes these little arrow formations pop up on the screen and you can do them for extra points. It's a lot of fun, perhaps too short, but I would say it's a little bit more fun than alpine skiing. Then you got Ski Cross, which is like a 4-contestant race on skis. In theory, it sounds like a lot of fun, but I don't know, the controls are just kind of unresponsive at times. Like, turning can be really hard, and you're supposed to be able to swing the controllers down to go into a crouch and speed up, but it doesn't always work. Plus, the game says swing the remote up to do a jump, but it doesn't really matter which way you swing the remote. I don't know, this isn't Nintendo's best showing of motion controls, I'm gonna be honest. I'm putting it below alpine skiing, fellas. Next up is snowboarding, which is like skiing, but kind of like edgier, if you know what I mean. Like, imagine you had two cool older cousins who are physical manifestations of snowboarding and skiing. Sure, skiing cousin would be cool to hang out with and is really accomplished in school and you look up to them and stuff, but snowboarding, he'll buy you beer when you're 16 and you can't get it yourself. We got two different flavors of snowboarding, half-pipe and snowboard cross. Snowboard cross is basically the same as ski cross, although it's a lot more fun because the controls work better and you can do tricks off the jumps on the track. I'd honestly say it's the best one so far. I like moguls, but snowboard cross being a race just makes it a little bit more fun. Next up is half-pipe. It's all about the tricks here, baby. You swing the remote up, you swing it around to do a bunch of tricks, and then swing it down to land. Person with the most points wins. It's as simple as that. I will say it's a little too easy, but goddamn is it ever fun. I think it's top in the ranking, honestly. Why the fuck have they never made a Mario skateboarding game, man? That would be so good. Next up, you got speed skating. I wonder which character I will pick. There are 3 events for speed skating, and for some reason they actually have totally different controls. Thanks a lot, Sega. Now I have to individually rank them. Always thinking of yourselves. So first is 500-meter relay, which is just a single lap around with one opponent. You start with a sprint where you shake the Wiimote furiously, and then you go into this weird rhythm game kind of thing where you have to swing the remote back and forth to match the character's strides. They'll put their hand back and it'll make a little sparkle and you have to match that. It's kind of neat. It doesn't exactly give off the impression that you're speed skating since, you know, you're not moving very fast. But it's pretty fun. It has a nice challenge. I think it's going above moguls. Next up is short track 1000 meters, which has 4 laps and is a race with 3 other speed skaters. This time we don't have any of that rhythmic nonsense. You just shake the Wiimote on the straight on sections and then you have to tilt the Wiimote on turns. If you exit the turn close to the center, you'll get a speed boost, but if you angle the Wiimote too far in the center, you won't smoothly go around the turn. It's got a challenge for sure and it's fun, but I think I like 500 meters more. There's also short track relay, but it's basically the same as the 1000 meter, only you have to tag in other players, so I'm moving on. Next up is figure skating. Fuck yeah. You pick a song, obviously Swan Lake. It is the thinking man's ballet. And then it's like a rhythm game. When the screen says swing up, you swing up. When the screen says swing down, you swing down. You got jumps, twirls, balancing. I don't know figure skating terminology. Yeah, I gotta be honest, this is so much fun, bro. Top tier, it's happening. Next up is bobsleigh, which is actually both bobsleigh and skeleton. The only difference is that bobsleigh is multiplayer and skeleton is one person at a time. You shake the remote and then you hop in there and you gotta tilt back and forth. Ideally, you want to remain in this little glowing speed bar here because you build speed up on it. It's pretty fun. I'd put it about, here. Next up is ice hockey, the national sport of Canada. Alright, folks, get ready because it's time for Unsolicited Canada Facts Volume 2. Hi again. There's a common misconception that the national sport of Canada is not hockey, but in fact lacrosse. I'm sure that if you live in Canada, at some point, the most annoying person that you know has told you that after reading it on a listicle during their lunch break. In reality, Canada has 2 national sports. Hockey is the winter sport, lacrosse is the summer sport. So there you go. Stop saying that hockey isn't the national sport of Canada. You're being a dickhead about a technicality. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, back to hockey. It's fun. It kind of reminds me of a less comprehensive Mario Strikers, and I fucking love Mario Strikers. Obviously, there's no power-ups or anything, but you can body check and stuff. There is some kind of weird stuff about it. You swing the remote to shoot on net, and you would think that you would always go to the opposing team's net, but no. Sometimes your guy will just fucking slap-shot it in the complete wrong direction. Why would I want to do that in any circumstance? But it's a lot of fun overall, especially in multiplayer. Parrish and I had many a good time with hockey.
I beat Ben in a video game.
But if I had to rank it, I'd probably put it below figure skating and above halfpipe. I love pulling off tricks on the halfpipe, but hockey is just so competitive and fun, especially in multiplayer. I could play it all day. And we're finally at the last sport, baby. Take your blood pressure medication, because we're going balls to the fucking wall, fellas. It's curling time.
No. Well, and Glenn isn't there neither, so...
True. He's cheering, though.
He's cheering. Tighter, tighter.
Yeah, quite a bit less weight.
Okay. Line's good. We got room. Too much room.
Alright, let's be real here. Curling is boring as shit. I actually went curling once, and it's much harder than it looks, and it's also somehow less fun than it looked. What a stupid idea for a staff Christmas party. So, just for clarity's sake, the rules of curling are as follows. The slider guy sends the stone down and tries to get it as close to the center of this bullseye as possible. And at the end of each end, that's what the little periods are called, the team with the stone closest to the center wins, and they get points based on how many stones they have in the red circle. So for example, in this circumstance, yellow won the end and got 2 points because they had 2 stones in the center. It may be boring, but at least it's easy to understand. However, curling in Mario and Sonic is actually quite fun. It kind of reminds me of Wii Sports bowling. You angle your shot, swing to throw, and then you shake the remote to sweep. It's pretty fun, though it does drag a little. I would say that I like it better than bobsleigh, but not as much as snowboard cross. And there you have it, folks, the objectively correct ranking of all the Olympic sports in this game. But there's one last thing I gotta talk about. You might be thinking to yourself, oh, Ben. Okay, or maybe you're thinking it to me. Oh, Ben, what's the point of a Mario and Sonic game if they're just doing boring, normal people stuff? And as usual, I have the answers to all of your stupid inquiries. In addition to the main sports, this game has an entire section of games called Dream Events, which you have to unlock. These are super cool and a lot more indicative of a game about Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. You got a Dream Alpine race that takes place at Seaside Hill from Sonic Heroes, Dream Snowboard Cross at Radical Highway from Sonic Adventure 2, Dream Curling is just straight up bowling and it takes place in Sherbert Land from Mario Kart 64, Dream Ice Hockey is a lot more like Mario Strikers because it has items, Dream Ski Jumping is way better than regular ski jumping because it's Mario Galaxy themed and you just fly around and collect points. You can figure skate to Mario and Sonic music, and you even have to fight Perfect Chaos. It's super cool. But by far my favorite sport in the whole game is Dream Snowball Fight. It's just straight up dodgeball with snowballs. It is so much fun. You can roll, target opponents, hide behind walls. It's such a blast. This should be in the actual Olympics. And that's a rundown of pretty much everything this game has to offer. But before we say goodbye, I want to talk about how this game makes me feel, bro. In the end, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games is a lot of fun. Most of the main events are fun, and the Dream events are super cool because they take the regular Olympic sport and put a fun video gamey twist on them. Honestly, part of me would have just preferred figure skating with a bunch of different Sonic songs, but what they gave us is still cool. That said though, this game is far from perfect. It lacks a certain polish in a lot of ways. For starters, the visuals. The opening cutscene is so goddamn beautiful. The character models are crystal clear and it's so well directed and makes the game look like so much fun. And then you get into the game and it looks pretty generic, to be honest. The characters are as default as they could possibly be. I don't understand. If you're gonna give Amy, Daisy, and Peach their own cute little winter outfits, why stop at just them? Like, they didn't even restrict special costumes to the female characters. Blaze is just in her default getup. Isn't Donkey Kong cold? Aren't gorillas endemic to, like, West Africa? My man has never seen snow before. Maybe it's a bit of a nitpick, but, like, the characters aren't even wearing skates or ski boots or anything. Their regular shoes just have skates sticking out of the bottom of them. And their snowboards just, like, magnetically attached to their feet. How hard would it have been to give Mario some ski boots, man? There's also a lot of ugly, blurry textures and shitty looking character models. Like, all the background audience characters are like on 2-second repeating loops. And also, they're not even 3D models, they're just GIFs that are always facing the camera to give the impression that they're 3D. They did this on the Nintendo 64 all the time, and it looked great back then, but the difference is that this game came out in 2009, and we're better than this, guys, come on. And on top of that, look at these flags, man. Could you have possibly gotten blurrier PNGs for these? Also, listen to this. You guys couldn't have gotten a loop of people cheering that was longer than 3 seconds? You know what though, sure, this game is missing a lot of polish, but gameplay wise it's very solid, it's a lot of fun. Overall, I would say that I like it. It's not perfect, but I like it. We're 2 for 2 for games that take place in Canada, fellas. Wow, Sega didn't lie. Mario and Sonic really can Winter Olympic Games. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna take some of these layers off, because even though I said that it was really cold in here, it's actually quite warm. You see, I routinely lie to you, and I enjoy doing it. Get out of my face. I'm sick of looking at you.